Shalom from Jerusalem. In our week's Parsha Metzora, we continue the same theme which we saw last week, and that is the spiritual leprosy which affects people in various ways, whether on a person's house, on his garments, or actually on his body. Now, our rabbis teach us that the word Metzora comes as a play on words, Motzei Shem Ra. He has slandered somebody. That's right. Evil speech, speaking behind the back of someone, is very, very severe and looked upon in Judaism as one of the worst sins that a person could do. So much so that a person must be very, very careful with his speech. In fact, we know that throughout the day, people speak many, many words. In fact, in a recent study, it has been proven that women speak up to 15,000 words on any particular day. Men speak 5,000. Now, out of all of those words that people are speaking continuously throughout the day, it's almost impossible that there's not something over there from forbidden talk. And that's why a person must always be conscious of this very severe sin. Motzei Shem Ra, slandering somebody. Well, when was the first conversation actually done that someone had slandered someone else in history of the world? I can't hear you. What'd you say? Oh, you in the back. Yes. That's right. The snake, the Nachash, in Garden of Eden. When God had just created the entire world and placed Adam and Eve in the garden, already at the beginning, the dawn of history, the first conversation between the snake and Eve was Motzei Shem Ra, slander. The snake, what did he do? He slandered God. He told Eve, here, partake of this forbidden fruit, and you too will be a god. You too will be able to create. This is the way God created the world. He partook of this forbidden fruit, and he had the powers now to create. That, of course, is a tremendous falsehood. God's not dependent on any fruit, obviously. But this was Motzei Shem Ra. The first conversation in the history of the world already had in it slander of God himself. And what came out of that? Death. Death and destruction was decreed upon the world. Billions of people have died throughout the history, all because of that first conversation. That's how severe slander is, and evil speech. That's why a person must be so connected to himself and to watch everything he says. In fact, our rabbis teach us that the righteous women of Egypt did not have the redemption until they took care of Lashon Hara. When they were on top of Lashon Hara and careful about their speech, then the redemption came about for the Jewish people. So too it will be in the future. That's the key. That's the key to redemption. An example. Our rabbis teach us King David's generation, a righteous generation. But when they went out to battle, many fell. In the time of Achav, king of Israel, he was an evil man. He worshipped idols. His entire generation worshipped idols. But you know what? When they went out to battle, nobody got hurt. How could that be? How could that possibly be? And the answer is that in the time of Achav, King of Israel, they were together. They had unity. Nobody spoke evil about his fellow man. And so the prosecuting angels in heaven were unable to also speak about the Jewish people. And so when they went out to battle, even in a dangerous situation, they were still able to overcome, and nobody was killed. An amazing fact. Because if you don't speak over here in this world, the prosecuting angels in heaven are unable to open their mouths about you. And so no evil befalls that person. As opposed to that, in the time of King David, his generation was righteous, but they spoke evil about each other. They slandered one another. And the prosecuting angel of heaven, was able to overcome them, and many fell. when David did battle. That's right. Because we know the great rule that God works in this world, and that is, the way that you act, so is acted upon you. If you are a ish chesed, if you do mercy and help other people, you'll be helped from heaven. If you open your mouth to speak evil about people, so too the books are open in heaven, and they are able, God forbid, to have decrees against you and the Jewish people. A horrible thing. That's how severe it is. And that's the message in this week's Parsha. A person must take tremendous control. Try as he can not to speak Lashon Hara against any Jew. That way, we will bring the redemption swiftly. Hey, it's time to go, boys and girls.
An old cowboy went riding out one
Our time's up. But we'll see you next week. Levi Chazan from Yeshiva Rayna Yehudi in Yerushalayim. See you next time.